Ladies and gentlemen,
A wonderful new label is Diana's Unstable.
our future are given the chance they deserve.
In a shocking twist no one saw coming, Queen Camilla was reportedly found crying beside a fireplace filled with the remains of Princess Diana's personal letters. Why now? And what was she trying to erase? The truth may shake the monarchy. Hit subscribe to stay updated on this royal storm. It began on what should have been a normal day inside Clarence's house. The ticking of antique clocks echoed softly through the halls. Everything seemed calm, until a royal aide opened a door they weren't supposed to. What did they see? The fireplace is still warm, a delicate bundle of pale blue ribbon falling apart. And Queen Camilla standing there, frozen. In her hands, something unmistakable, Princess Diana's handwriting, already half consumed by flames. There was a long, stunned silence, and then Camilla reportedly whispered something barely audible. This isn't what it looks like. But if it wasn't what it looked like, then what was it? These weren't official papers or public statements. They were personal. Handwritten notes by Diana herself, said to be written between 1990 and 1997, the years when her life behind palace walls was falling apart. Some letters were meant for close friends. Others, more daring, were reportedly addressed to Camilla. These weren't emotional outbursts. They were calm, clear, and full of quiet strength. One letter reportedly read, "I know what's going on. I'm not blind, but I am still his wife, and I will not go quietly." Another simply ended with, "If I vanish, remember, I tried." Powerful words, meant to be remembered, not destroyed. So the real question becomes, why now? Whispers inside the palace suggest that Camilla had always felt the weight of Diana's presence, not just in public portraits or headlines, but in Prince Charles's memory. No matter how many years passed, Diana's influence never truly faded. Those letters may have served as reminders of a story Camilla wished had ended long ago. One royal historian put it like this: those weren't just letters, they were ghosts. And if those ghosts threatened to reappear, it's possible someone may have wanted to erase them before they ever resurfaced. But if this was just a moment of emotional release, why were others silenced so quickly? The aide who witnessed the burning didn't stay long. In fact, they were gone within 48 hours, moved quietly to a different estate, no warning, no reason. Sources say the transfer was no coincidence. That order came from very high up, one insider claimed. What were they trying to bury? And was it really just Camilla making that choice? Because if the palace acted to keep this under wraps, then it's no longer just personal. It becomes institutional. Then there's Edith Travers, the royal archivist for over a decade. Quiet, meticulous, loyal. She was in charge of organizing and safeguarding Diana's private letters, ones never meant for public release. But just weeks before the alleged fire, she suddenly retired. No celebration, no announcement. She packed her office and left. A final email to a former colleague surfaced later. It read, "Be careful. Diana's truth is in danger. They're not protecting her memory. They're erasing it." Since then, silence. Edith hasn't spoken publicly, hasn't been seen around the palace. But those who worked with her say she knew more than anyone. And she was worried. According to those close to Diana, the letters didn't just reflect heartbreak. They carried deep concerns about her role, her family, and her future. In one rumored note, she reportedly wrote, "They are shaping William in their image, not mine." In another, "If my voice disappears, the story changes." She feared being rewritten, erased, that one day her legacy would be reshaped to serve someone else's version of the truth. There were even whispers that the letters referred to hidden audio tapes, recordings she never released. If true, those tapes and these letters could change everything we think we know. And perhaps that's why they were never meant to survive. After word leaked of the fire, the palace didn't issue a statement, no clarification, no apology, just silence. But outside those palace gates, that silence spoke volumes. Hashtags began trending. Vigils were held near Kensington Palace, candles flickered, and signs read, "Her truth deserved more than smoke." Across social media, people weren't just grieving the loss of letters. They were mourning what felt like an attack on Diana's memory. One commentator called it historical erasure with a royal stamp. Another said, "A fireplace has now become a symbol of silence." When the news reached Diana's brother, Charles Spencer, he didn't wait. Sources say his reaction was immediate and furious. He reportedly saw the letters not as royal property, but as family legacy. They belonged to her and to her sons, one family friend said. The Spencer estate launched a private audit of all documents Diana ever entrusted to them. Letters, recordings, even handwritten notes. One cousin said, "If they can burn this, what else might they erase?" And the most chilling part? The palace didn't deny it. They just went quiet. According to insiders, neither William nor Harry was told about the letters being destroyed. Not before, not even after. William had always known the letters existed, but he avoided reading them. It was too painful, one aide shared. Harry, on the other hand, had spoken often about how much those letters meant to him. "It's how she still talks to us," he once said. When he found out they were gone, sources say he was livid. Another betrayal, another reminder of everything lost. And now, both brothers face a painful question. Speak out for their mother's memory or protect the crown. What drove Camilla to destroy the letters, if she truly did? Some believe it was emotional, a way of finally putting the past behind her. Others aren't so sure. Insiders suggest the letters may have painted a damaging picture of her, of Charles, of what really happened during Diana's final years as Princess of Wales. As Camilla steps further into the public spotlight, those letters could have sparked unwanted attention. And with the monarchy already facing scrutiny, some feared it might all be too much. Was it personal or was it planned? Here's where it gets interesting. Diana didn't trust easily, and she planned for every outcome. According to her former legal advisor, she made backup copies of her most sensitive writings. Some were said to be sent to trusted friends abroad. Others stored in safety deposit boxes, possibly even under a false name. One royal historian claims to have seen a sealed final letter, allegedly written just days before Diana's final trip overseas. He said, "It wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. It connected dots." If any of these letters remain, they could still reveal the truth, and someone inside the royal circle is reportedly looking for them. Princess Diana's story didn't end the day she stepped away from her royal title, or even when the cameras stopped flashing. Her legacy has always lived beyond palaces, pearls, and protocols. It lives in the way people still talk about her, look up to her, and feel connected to her, decades later. She wasn't just a royal figure. To many, she was a symbol of hope, compassion, and quiet resistance. The letters that were reportedly burned weren't about scandal. They weren't attacks. They were reminders. Evidence that Diana was more than just a part of the royal family. She was a woman who endured pain with grace, who tried to hold her world together while it was falling apart. And maybe that's why people connected with her. She didn't pretend. She didn't hide her struggles behind smiles forever. She showed the world that even someone in a palace could feel forgotten, alone, and misunderstood. But the moment those letters turned to ash, something changed. Not just for her family, but for the millions who still hold her memory close. You see, when a legacy is powerful enough, no amount of silence or secrecy can smother it. And Diana's story? It never really belonged to the monarchy. It belonged to the people. The public sees those letters not just as pages from the past, but as unfinished sentences. Her voice, almost audible through ink, was giving context to a story we only saw in headlines. Think about it. How many times did Diana face cameras smiling even when she was hurting? How often did we see her stepping into charity events or royal appearances with elegance, while privately writing down the truth in carefully folded letters? Those writings may have been her only real outlet, her only safe space in a world where she constantly had to play a role. And yet, even with so much pressure on her, Diana didn't lash out. She didn't run to the tabloids. Instead, she trusted paper, pen, and maybe a few trusted friends. So when people heard those letters were allegedly destroyed, they didn't just see paper turning to ash. They saw someone's voice being taken away, again. And that's why the reaction has been so strong. Vigils, hashtags, protests, because this wasn't just about royalty. This was about truth, about the right to be remembered accurately, to have your side of the story honored, even when you're no longer here to tell it yourself. In many ways, Diana's legacy is more alive now than ever. The world still looks back at her warmth, her empathy, and the way she connected with people, not through position, but through emotion. We still hear stories of her visiting hospitals in secret, holding hands with those who were struggling, listening when no one else would. She was real in a world that often felt rehearsed. And even now, years later, her sons still carry pieces of her legacy with them, in how they interact with the public, in the causes they support, in the way they challenge the system from within or from outside it. But what hurts so many is the idea that Diana tried to preserve her voice. She saw what was happening. She knew there would be attempts to rewrite her role in royal history. That's why she left behind what she did, those deeply personal writings, some said to be even more honest than her most famous interviews. If those letters were taken, erased, or hidden away, what does that say about the system around her? And what message does that send to the people who believed in her, who saw her as more than just a title? Diana's story was never one of perfection. It was one of persistence. She stumbled. She felt lost. But she also found strength in being vulnerable. And that's what made her unforgettable. So now we're at a crossroads. Will her story be preserved as it truly was? Or will it be reduced to royal footnotes and official biographies that leave out the emotions behind the events? Because here's the thing. Diana didn't ask to become a symbol, but she became one anyway. A symbol of strength in silence, of love in loss, of honesty in a world full of pretense. And symbols, when burned, only grow brighter in memory. Let us know what you think in the comments. Was this a personal moment of regret or a calculated move to protect the past?